Imagine waking up one day and realizing that everything holding you back isn't out there. It's inside your life, hidden in plain sight. The people you talk to, the habits you cling to, the thoughts you feed yourself, they are quietly stealing your energy, your focus, your very potential. And here's the truth most people will never tell you. You don't need to announce your changes. You don't need to explain why. The strongest moves in life are the ones made in silence. Because here's the secret. Real transformation happens quietly. While the world is busy talking, scrolling, complaining, you can be building an unshakable life, step by step, moment by moment, by eliminating the things that weigh you down. Some of these things are obvious. Some of them are so subtle you barely notice them until one day you wake up and realize your life has been running on autopilot, driven by invisible chains. And when you finally pull yourself free, when you quietly remove these invisible anchors, the world won't understand. And that's the point. What I'm about to share with you isn't a list of feel-good suggestions. It's a blueprint for taking control, for reclaiming your time, your energy, and your freedom. And you won't need to tell a soul, because the moment you start quietly eliminating these things, you become untouchable, unstoppable, and unapologetically free. So listen carefully. This isn't about fame or approval or showing off. It's about power. The kind of power that doesn't announce itself, but commands respect. The kind of power that changes everything without anyone knowing how it happened. By the time this video ends, you'll see your life through a new lens. You'll recognize the people, the habits, and the thoughts that have been holding you back, and more importantly, you'll know exactly what to quietly remove to step into your full potential. There's a truth most people refuse to admit. The people you allow into your inner circle have more power over your life than almost anything else. Not your job, not your money, not even your circumstances. The people you spend the most time with determine your energy, your focus, your confidence, and ultimately, your results. And yet, most of us cling to relationships that are quietly toxic, disguised as friendship, loyalty, or love. They smile in your face, nod at your ideas, and pretend to celebrate your wins. But behind the scenes, they drain you, distract you, and plant seeds of doubt in your mind. These people are like parasites. They feed off your ambition. They feed off your excitement, your drive, your courage. And you often don't even notice it. At first, it's subtle. You leave a conversation feeling just slightly drained. You start to second-guess decisions you were confident in a moment ago. You notice your goals shrinking, not because you aren't capable, but because someone around you is quietly shrinking your belief in yourself. And here's the harsh reality. You cannot grow beyond the limitations of the people you surround yourself with. Your energy is finite. Your time is finite. And every toxic person in your life is silently stealing both. But here's the problem most people face. They stay because of guilt, because of obligation, or because they fear confrontation. They stay because they think removing a person from their life requires a public announcement, an explanation, or a messy confrontation. Let me be clear, it does not. In fact, the most powerful act you can take is to quietly eliminate the people who are holding you back without telling a single soul. Your life is not a performance. Your growth does not require permission. And when you start to protect your energy in silence, everything changes. You might be thinking, but I've known them forever. We've shared so much. Can't things just change? That's the illusion. People only change when they are ready. And most of the time, the people who drain you are not ready. They are comfortable in the chaos, in the gossip, in the drama. They cannot support the life you are striving to create. Not because they want to hurt you, but because their minds are not built for your vision. And if you try to drag them along, if you compromise your standards, if you allow them to remain in your energy field, you will compromise yourself. So, what does quietly eliminating someone look like? It's not drama, it's not shouting or guilt-tripping, it's boundaries. It's awareness, it's a firm decision to protect your mind, your heart, and your time. It's not checking in so often, it's not accepting every invitation, it's not listening to endless complaints. It's observing from a distance and slowly, methodically reducing their influence. And here's the beauty of it. No confrontation is required, no explanation is needed. The moment you stop feeding them your energy, the moment you stop letting their negativity dictate your mood, you reclaim power. Quietly, intentionally, relentlessly, you remove the toxic elements from your life, and you feel lighter, sharper, freer. Because here's the truth. Most people never grasp. The fewer toxic people you have in your life, the stronger you become. The quieter the elimination, the more profound the results. People who are truly worth your time will rise to the occasion naturally. They will support your ambitions without question. They will celebrate your wins without envy. They will respect your boundaries, and they will elevate your energy instead of depleting it. And for the ones who don't, for the ones who resist, resent, or drain, you don't need to explain, argue, or beg. You just let them go. Some of the most successful, resilient people in history learned this lesson early. They didn't announce their cutoffs. They didn't seek validation. They simply recognized the energy leeches in their lives and removed them quietly. It's not cruel. It's strategic. It's not selfish. It's necessary. The truth is, you cannot be everything to everyone. You cannot save someone else's energy while sacrificing your own. You cannot grow while dragging dead weight along. And the sooner you accept this, the sooner you step into your full potential. Now, let's address another layer of complexity. Family, long-term friends, colleagues you cannot simply walk away from. The same principle applies, but with nuance. You don't always need to sever every tie to protect yourself. Sometimes elimination is mental and emotional. You control your reactions, your expectations, and your time. You can be polite, you can be courteous, but internally, you are disengaging from the negative influence. You stop seeking validation from them. You stop investing energy in opinions that don't serve you. You quietly create distance, and the results are just as powerful. When you eliminate toxic relationships, something almost miraculous happens. Your focus sharpens. Your confidence grows, your resilience strengthens. You notice opportunities you were blind to before. You see the life you want more clearly because the fog of negativity is gone. And here's the best part. You don't have to announce it. No one needs to know. The growth is yours. The freedom is yours. The energy is yours. The world will notice your transformation eventually, not because you told them, but because they can't ignore the new version of you. So start today. Look at your life honestly. Ask yourself which relationships uplift you and which silently drain you. Ask yourself who is celebrating your wins and who is subtly sabotaging your confidence. And then, with quiet determination, start removing them. Not with fanfare, not with confrontation, not with explanations, but with silence, with discipline, and with unshakable resolve. The path of quiet elimination is not easy. It requires courage, awareness, and strength. But it is the path to freedom, focus, and unstoppable growth, because the people who belong in your life will rise to meet you. The ones who don't, they will fall away. And in the space they leave behind, you will discover something invaluable, the power to live life on your terms, fully, fiercely, and without compromise. There is one enemy more dangerous than any toxic person, more insidious than any external obstacle, and far more relentless than any challenge life can throw at you. That enemy lives inside your mind. It hides in the quiet moments, in the pauses between your thoughts. It whispers just loud enough for you to hear, but quiet enough to disguise itself as reason. It tells you you're not ready. You can't do it. What if you fail? That enemy is self-doubt. That enemy is the limiting belief that keeps you trapped, spinning in place, waiting for permission that will never come. Self-doubt is a thief. It steals your confidence, your courage, your momentum. It convinces you to settle for less than your potential. And here's the kicker, it does not announce itself. It does not appear as a screaming voice or a threatening figure. It hides behind logic, reason, and caution. It sounds like a friend, like common sense, like prudence. But make no mistake, every moment you allow that voice to dominate your mind, you are surrendering power that is rightfully yours. Limiting beliefs are no different. They are invisible chains that we place on ourselves, sometimes without even realizing it. I'm not smart enough. I don't have the connections. I can't succeed because of my past. These are lies disguised as truths, repeated so often in our minds that they feel real. But the truth is this: every limitation you believe exists only in your head. Every obstacle you think is insurmountable can be overcome if you refuse to let fear dictate your life. And the most dangerous part, the world doesn't see your doubt. The world doesn't see your excuses. Only you see them. And only you and choose to remove them. Here's the harsh reality. No one else is responsible for your self-doubt. No one else is responsible for the beliefs that hold you back. The moment you stop blaming circumstances, the moment you stop waiting for someone else's approval, you step into power. Real power comes from awareness, the recognition that the only thing standing between you and your next level is the story you are telling yourself. And once you understand that, the only option left is action. You eliminate those limiting beliefs the same way you eliminate toxic people, quietly, deliberately, and without fanfare. But eliminating self-doubt is not about pretending it doesn't exist. It's about acknowledging it, confronting it, and refusing to let it control you. It's about looking at that small, quiet voice in your mind and saying, I see you, I hear you, and I choose to act anyway. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the decision to move forward despite it. Every great achievement, every life-changing moment begins with the refusal to let doubt dictate your choices. The moment you act despite fear, doubt begins to shrink, and your confidence grows. Limiting beliefs are also reinforced by the environment you live in. Every skeptical word from others, every dismissive glance, every subtle criticism becomes fuel for your inner doubts. And if you let them, these beliefs compound, forming invisible walls that block your progress. But here is the key, the walls only exist as energy as you feed them. Once you stop giving energy to the doubts, once you stop internalizing the skepticism of others, the walls crumble. You must treat your mind like a fortress, protect it, curate it, and remove every thought, every belief, every mental habit that undermines your ability to grow. This is where discipline meets self-mastery. Quiet elimination of limiting beliefs requires consistency. It requires reflection, journaling, and sometimes brutal honesty with yourself. You must ask, which beliefs are mine and which ones were imposed on me? You must challenge the narrative you've accepted for years, and you must replace old limiting thoughts with truths that empower rather than weaken. The truth is simple. You are capable. You are resourceful. You are stronger than the fear in your mind, and until you own that truth, nothing else in your life will align with your potential. Here's a practical reality. Eliminating self-doubt is not instant. It's a process, a quiet revolution within your mind. It requires patience and persistence. You may act one day and still feel the sting of doubt the next. That's normal. That's human. The difference between those who succeed and those who remain stuck is the refusal to let temporary fear dictate permanent results. You act anyway, you move forward anyway, you build the life you want, quietly, deliberately, without waiting for approval or external validation. And here is where it becomes truly powerful. When you eliminate limiting beliefs, the world begins to respond to a different version of you. People notice a confidence they can't explain. Opportunities begin to appear that seemed impossible before. Your decisions become decisive, your focus becomes sharp, your energy becomes unstoppable. All because you remove the chains that existed only in your own mind. And the beauty of it is, no one needs to know the battle you fought in silence. The growth, the transformation, the rise, they speak for themselves. So listen carefully. Start today. Identify the thoughts that have been quietly sabotaging your life. Notice the recurring fears, the doubts, the I can't moments. Write them down, confront them, then replace them with statements of truth. I am capable, I am prepared, I am enough. Repeat them until they feel natural. Live them until they become your new reality. And do it quietly. Do it with discipline. Do it with relentless focus. Because the strongest transformations never require an audience. They require courage, persistence, and an unshakable belief in yourself. The truth is this, the only limits that exist are the ones you accept. The only doubts that matter are the ones you allow to dictate your actions. Quietly, methodically, relentlessly, you can eliminate them. And when you do, you reclaim something far more valuable than temporary comfort or approval. You reclaim your power, your potential, and your future. And once that happens, nothing, no person, no circumstance, no fear can hold you back. Habits are powerful. They are the invisible architecture of your life. Every decision, every action, every moment of consistency or inconsistency is building the life you live. And yet most people never stop to examine their habits. They cling to routines that drain them, comfort that limits them, and behaviors that subtly sabotage everything they are trying to achieve. These are toxic habits, and they are far more dangerous than external obstacles because they disguise themselves as normal, acceptable, even harmless. The problem is that once a toxic habit takes hold, it begins to dictate your life quietly, subtly, and relentlessly. Toxic habits are sneaky. They don't announce themselves. They slip into your daily routine disguised as pleasure, as relaxation, as convenience. Mindless scrolling on your phone, saying yes when you should say no, procrastinating under the illusion of preparation. These are all examples of habits that eat away at your time, your energy, and your focus. And before you know it, months or years have passed, and you are frustrated by the results, or the lack thereof, without ever realizing the quiet thief at work in your life. These habits are like a slow poison. They are invisible, but their effect is undeniable. They erode ambition, dilute purpose, and sap the fire that once burned in you. The first step to eliminating toxic habits is awareness. You cannot fix what you refuse to see. Most people go through life on autopilot, reacting to impulses rather than directing their actions with intention. You have to pause. You have to examine your days, your routines, your choices. Which habits bring value? Which habits steal energy? Which habits feed your potential? And which ones suffocate it? This takes honesty. Brutal, unflinching honesty. Because toxic habits often masquerade as comfort or necessity, and it is easy to rationalize them away. You have to look at them for what they truly are. Obstacles disguised as routine. Once you recognize them, elimination begins. And here is where most people fail. They try to quit with fanfare, with a dramatic announcement, with an unrealistic expectation of perfection. This doesn't work. Change is not about hype. Change is about discipline, consistency, and elimination. You do not need anyone to witness it. You do not need anyone to cheer you on. You simply replace the toxic habit with a positive one. Small incremental adjustments quietly accumulate into massive transformation. You might stop scrolling mindlessly for 30 minutes a day and replace it with reading something that expands your mind. You might replace negative coping mechanisms like overeating or drinking with exercise or reflection. The change is silent, but the effect is seismic. Toxic habits often serve as a crutch, a way to avoid discomfort. They are a shield against fear, uncertainty, and the challenge of growth. But here's the truth. Comfort is the enemy of progress. If you cling to habits that make life easy in the moment but diminish your power over time, you are trading temporary relief for long-term regret. Every time you indulge in a toxic habit, you reinforce a pattern that diminishes your capacity to perform at your best. Every decision to give in quietly chips away at your potential. And unless you intervene, you will wake up one day wondering why your life looks nothing like the one you imagined. Eliminating toxic habits requires strategy. It requires replacement, not just removal. Habits are neural pathways in your brain, patterns that have been reinforced over time. If you try to remove them without providing an alternative, the void is filled quickly with old behaviors. That is why intentional replacement is critical. You might replace night binge watching with journaling, scrolling with movement, complaining with action. The key is not deprivation, the key is substitution. You quietly dismantle the habits that drain you while building those that elevate you. It also requires patience. True change is rarely instantaneous. There will be setbacks, temptations, and moments when the old habits call your name louder than your desire to improve. This is normal. This is human. The difference between those who remain stuck and those who break free is resilience. You act despite resistance. You move forward despite discomfort. You continue quietly, deliberately, knowing that the accumulation of small, consistent choices will lead to a transformation that is undeniable. Another critical aspect is environment. Your habits are influenced more than you realize by your surroundings, your social circle, and even your possessions. If you want to eliminate toxic habits, you must also remove the triggers that reinforce them. That might mean decluttering your space, reducing exposure to negative influences, or avoiding situations that tempt you into old routines. The environment is silent, but it speaks louder than words. By controlling it, you take away the easy paths to your old habits, making the new, positive choices the default, not the exception. And here is the reward. The quiet triumph that comes from eliminating toxic habits, freedom. Freedom from distraction, from wasted energy, from self-sabotage. Freedom to focus fully on your goals, to invest in yourself, to grow without resistance from your own behavior. And the beauty of it is, no one needs to know the internal work you have done. No one needs to witness your struggle. The transformation speaks for itself. People notice confidence, decisiveness, and energy that wasn't there before, and they wonder how it happened. They don't need to know. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you are free. You are powerful. You are building a life intentionally, step by step, habit by habit, silently, relentlessly. So start today. Identify the habits that are quietly sabotaging your life. Write them down. Observe the patterns. Replace them with positive actions. Remove the triggers. Control your environment. Be patient. Be relentless. And above all, do it quietly. Because the most profound transformations are invisible at first. They don't require validation, attention, or applause. They require courage, discipline, and consistency. The moment you take control of your habits, you take control of your life. The moment you eliminate the toxic behaviors that hold you back, you unlock the potential that has always been inside you. And once that happens, nothing, not fear, not doubt, not external obstacles, can stop you from becoming the person you are capable of being. Distractions are everywhere. They are silent, invisible, and relentless. They do not knock at your door or announce their arrival. They slip into your mind, into your day, into your routines, disguised as entertainment, connection, or obligation. A notification pops up. A conversation veers off topic. A thought drifts in, pulling your focus away from what matters. And before you realize it, hours have passed. Energy has been wasted. Momentum has stalled. Life is not lived in moments of distraction, but in moments of focus, decisiveness, and intentional action. Yet most people allow themselves to be dominated by noise, as if constant busyness and constant input are the same as productivity or purpose. They are not. Noise is more than just external. It is mental, emotional, and social. It is the chatter that fills your mind when you are alone. The endless questions, the worries, the fears that have no purpose other than to keep you small. It is the gossip and opinions of people who do not carry your vision, who do not share your ambition, and yet feel entitled to influence your thoughts. It is the constant hum of social media, the news cycle, the endless stream of stimuli designed to steal your attention. And here's the truth. Every second spent on these distractions is a second you cannot reclaim. Every moment of mental clutter is a moment of lost clarity, lost energy, lost progress. Most people underestimate the cost of distraction because it is subtle. You tell yourself, I'll just check this or I'll multitask, it won't hurt. But it does. Multitasking is a lie. Every time your attention shifts, your focus fractures, your energy dissipates, and the quality of your work, your thought, and your decisions declines. Distractions are thieves disguised as convenience. They rob you of the life you intended to build, one quiet compromise at a time. And here is the hardest part. Many people fight for distraction. They cling to it because it feels safe. They cling to noise because it shields them from facing the uncomfortable truths of growth, responsibility, and accountability. Eliminating distractions is not about removing all pleasure or avoiding connection. It is about control. It is about discipline. It is about creating a mental and physical environment where your energy is directed, undivided, and uncompromised. It is about making the conscious decision to protect your mind as fiercely as you would protect a fortress. Because distraction is not just a minor inconvenience, it is a threat to everything you are trying to accomplish. The more noise you allow, the less room there is for focus, strategy, and action. The less room there is for greatness. The first step is awareness. You cannot remove what you do not recognize. Take a hard look at your day. Observe where your attention drifts. Notice what triggers your distraction. Notifications, people, thoughts, media. Identify which distractions are optional and which are imposed. Optional distractions are the ones you can remove quietly, without conflict, without drama. These are the low-hanging fruit, the easy wins that will immediately free energy and focus. Imposed distractio. Ends are more complex, but they can be managed. You cannot control the noise around you entirely, but you can control your response to it. You can choose where your attention lands. You can choose the mental battles you engage in. You can choose to create a shield of focus around yourself. Once you recognize the sources of distraction, the next step is elimination, and here is the key. Quiet elimination is far more effective than dramatic gestures. You do not need to announce that you are leaving social media, that you are cutting out unnecessary conversations, or that you are ignoring certain opinions. You simply stop giving them power. You silence notifications. You remove apps. You limit exposure. You create a schedule for your energy, dedicated blocks for work, reflection, and growth, and clear boundaries for everything else. The act of quietly reclaiming your attention is an act of power. It tells your mind, I am in control. I decide where my energy goes. I am not a slave to noise. Noise is not always external. Often it is internal, fed by fear, doubt, and indecision. The mind loves to chatter. It loves to create worst-case scenarios, to replay conversations, to imagine every possible failure. And if you allow it, it can dominate your reality, preventing decisive action. This is why mental discipline is as important as environmental control. You must train your mind to recognize unnecessary noise, to observe it without attachment, and to redirect focus to what truly matters. Meditation, journaling, and reflection are powerful tools for this process. They create mental space, clarity, and strength, allowing you to act with intention rather than reaction. Distractions are dangerous because they make you feel busy without making you productive. They give the illusion of progress while stealing the very thing that fuels progress, your energy. The more noise you tolerate, the weaker your focus, the slower your momentum, and the more fragmented your life becomes. People who achieve extraordinary results are not exceptional because they are smarter or luckier. They are exceptional because they have mastered attention. They have removed the distractions that drain others. They have eliminated the noise that clouds judgment, and they do this quietly, deliberately, relentlessly. Here is the ultimate reward, clarity. When you remove distractions, you create space for strategy, creativity, and action. You regain hours, energy, and focus that were previously stolen. And by noise, you begin to see your goals clearly. You make decisions with precision. You act decisively. And the transformation is quiet but undeniable. People may notice your results, your confidence, and your momentum. They may wonder how you do it. They do not need to know that the real work happened in silence, in the deliberate removal of distractions and noise. So start today. Audit your attention. Identify what is optional and what is imposed. Remove what you can. Manage what you cannot. Protect your energy. Guard your focus. Train your mind to recognize useless noise and redirect it to action. Create boundaries that cannot be crossed. And do it quietly. Because the power of focus is invisible at first. It does not announce itself. It does not seek applause. But over time, it compounds, creating momentum, results, and a life lived intentionally without compromise. Distractions and noise are everywhere. But your ability to control your attention, quietly, deliberately, and relentlessly, is the defining difference between the ordinary and the extraordinary. Attachments can be invisible chains. They can weigh you down, distract you, and secretly dictate the course of your life without you even realizing it. We think of attachments as physical things, objects we own, titles we hold, positions we achieve, but they are much deeper than that. Attachments are emotional, mental, and social. They are the ties to people, places, identities, and expectations that keep you from moving freely toward the life you were meant to live. Most people live their lives as if attachment is a virtue, as if clinging to people, possessions, and habits is a sign of loyalty or stability. But the truth is, unnecessary attachment is the enemy of freedom. It is the silent force that holds your potential hostage. The danger of attachment lies in its subtlety. It does not scream or threaten. It appears comforting, safe, familiar. You hold on to possessions because they represent security. You hold on to relationships because they represent love or obligation. You hold on to roles or titles because they represent identity or validation. And at first, these attachments feel harmless. They feel logical. But over time, they accumulate, invisibly shaping your choices, limiting your options, and draining your energy. Every attachment you maintain out of fear, habit, or guilt is a tether pulling you away from what you could become. Unnecessary attachments also manifest as attachment to outcomes and approval. You want things to be a certain way. You want people to validate your choices. You want life to conform to your expectations. And when it doesn't, you feel frustration, disappointment, and despair. You are tethered not just to objects or people, but to imagined realities that do not exist. This is dangerous because it makes you reactive rather than proactive. It keeps you trapped in a cycle of dependence on material possessions, on social validation, on fleeting circumstance. And while you are busy holding on, life passes you by. Opportunities are missed, growth is stifled, freedom is lost. The first step in eliminating unnecessary attachments is awareness. You cannot remove what you do not recognize. Look honestly at your life. Identify the things, people, and beliefs to which you are clinging. Ask yourself, do these attachments elevate me or diminish me? Do they bring me closer to the life I want? Or do they anchor me in place? Be brutally honest. Many attachments feel safe because they are familiar, but familiarity is not the same as value. You must be willing to face discomfort to acknowledge that what you are holding on to is holding you back. Eliminating attachments requires courage. It is not easy to release things that have become part of your identity, even if they no longer serve you. It is uncomfortable to let go of possessions, to step away from relationships, to abandon expectations. But comfort is the enemy of growth. The moment you release an attachment, you reclaim energy, clarity, and freedom. You open space in your life for new experiences, new connections, and new possibilities. Letting go is not loss, it is gain. It is a transfer of power back to you, quietly, without drama or justification. The process of elimination is quiet and deliberate. You do not need to announce that you are letting go. You do not need approval or validation. You simply decide in silence that what no longer serves you will no longer control you. Perhaps it is a physical decluttering, removing objects that weigh down your environment. Perhaps it is emotional, letting go of resentment, regret, or grudges that anchor your mind to the past. Perhaps it is social, stepping away from relationships that drain your energy or stifle your growth. In each case, the principle is the same: reclaim your energy, reclaim your focus, and reclaim your freedom. Attachments can also be subtle and internal. We cling to beliefs, identities, and past versions of ourselves. We tell ourselves, "I've always been this way," or "I can't change now." We hold on to self-imposed limitations because they are comfortable, familiar, and predictable. These internal attachments are just as toxic as external ones. They prevent reinvention, innovation, and the evolution of self. To eliminate them, you must confront your own mental patterns, challenge your identity narratives, and embrace the possibility of becoming someone stronger, bolder, and freer than the version of you have been holding on to. The reward for eliminating unnecessary attachments is immense. Life becomes lighter, sharper, and clearer. Decisions become easier because they are not clouded by obligation, fear, or outdated loyalty. Focus becomes more precise because energy is no longer fragmented across meaningless ties. You can move with purpose and intent because nothing invisible is holding you back. And the beauty of this transformation is that it is quiet. People may notice a change in your demeanor, in your confidence, in your clarity. They may wonder why you are so unshakable. They do not need to know that the transformation happened in silence, in the deliberate elimination of attachments, in the reclaiming of your own power. Here is the ultimate truth. Freedom is not found in accumulation, it is found in release. Growth is not achieved by clinging, it is achieved by letting go. You cannot move forward while dragging unnecessary attachments behind you. You cannot reach your potential while tethered to the past, to approval, or to things that no longer serve you. And the moment you embrace this reality, the moment you quietly release the anchors that bind you, your life begins to shift. Opportunities appear that were previously hidden. Your energy becomes sharper, your focus becomes clearer, and your potential becomes limitless. So start today. Identify what you are holding on to out of fear, obligation, or habit. Examine the attachments that drain your energy, cloud your judgment, and limit your growth. Decide quietly which to release. Let go with intention. Remove the mental, emotional, and physical ties that no longer serve you. And as you do, you will discover something powerful. The freedom to live fully, decisively, and without compromise. Your life, your energy, and your potential are too valuable to be tethered by unnecessary attachments. Release them quietly, deliberately, and relentlessly. Because the life you are meant to live is not about what you hold on to. It is about what you are willing to let go of. You've listened, you've reflected, and now it's time to understand the truth that will change everything. Your life is not shaped by luck, circumstances, or the opinions of others. It is shaped by the choices you make, the energy you protect, and the battles you fight quietly, without anyone watching. Every toxic relationship you cut, every limiting belief you destroy, every habit you replace, every distraction you ignore, every attachment you release, it all adds up. It compounds into a life that is intentional, powerful, and unstoppable. Here's the secret most people will never admit. Transformation is silent. It doesn't require applause. It doesn't ask for validation. The world doesn't need to know you're changing, but you do. The victories that matter most are the ones fought in the shadows, in the quiet corners of your mind, in the choices you make when no one is watching. That is where true power is born. That is where freedom is claimed. That is where the life you've been waiting for begins. You cannot give your energy away to those who drain it. You cannot let fear, doubt, and habit dictate your destiny. You cannot remain tethered to what no longer serves you. If you want a life of purpose, clarity, and impact, you must act. And you must act now. Quietly, deliberately, relentlessly. Remove the things that weigh you down. Protect your energy. Sharpen your focus. Build yourself into someone unstoppable. Remember this, the strongest moves in life are the ones made in silence. The world will notice the results, not the struggle. The world will respect the outcome, not the explanation. And the moment you embrace this truth, when you commit to the quiet elimination of what no longer serves you, nothing will be able to stop you. Not circumstances, not people, not fear. You will move forward with precision, power, and unstoppable momentum. So take control. Begin today. Begin quietly, begin with courage, because your life is too valuable to waste on anything that diminishes you. Your potential is too great to surrender to distractions, doubt, and attachment, and your future is too important to delay. Eliminate, release, focus, and rise, not for anyone else, not for approval, not for applause, but for yourself, for the life you are meant to live, fully, fiercely, and without compromise. This is your moment. Own it.